Imagine waking up in a room surrounded by complex machinery with no memory of who you are or how you got there. This is how we meet Ryan Gosling, the sole survivor of the Hail Mary mission. He's millions of miles from Earth, monitored by robotic arms, and his only companions are two deceased crewmates. As his memory slowly returns, he realizes he isn't just a lost traveler. He is humanity's last hope. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the clock is ticking on a global scale. This is the beginning of Project Hail Mary, a story of survival, science, and an unlikely friendship that spans the stars. The crisis began back on Earth when scientists noticed the sun was losing its luster. A strange microscopic organism dubbed astrophage was feeding on the sun's energy, breeding at an exponential rate. If left unchecked, the Earth would enter a new ice age, killing billions. Dr. Grace, once a disgraced molecular biologist turned middle school teacher, discovered the one thing that could stop them. These tiny golden dots were traveling along the Petrova line toward Venus. To save the world, humanity had to find a star that was immune to this solar parasite. The mission? Find out why Tau Ceti was still shining. Project Hail Mary was born out of desperation. Led by the indomitable Eva Strat, the project had unlimited resources and zero red tape. The mission was a suicide run, a ship powered by the very astrophage that was killing the sun. Because the ship could only carry enough fuel for a one-way trip, the crew knew they would never return home. Ryan Gosling, initially a consultant, finds himself drafted into the crew after a tragic accident. They set a course for Tau Ceti, 12 light-years away, hoping to find the secret to the sun's survival before Earth freezes over. The Hail Mary is a marvel of engineering. To simulate gravity, the ship is designed to split into two sections connected by long cables, spinning around a center of mass. This centrifugal force allows the crew to live in a semi-normal environment. It's filled with state-of-the-art labs where Grace performs his experiments. From culturing Tau MOBA to analyzing alien data, the ship is both a home and a laboratory. But in the vast emptiness of space, even the most advanced ship feels incredibly small. It is here that Ryland makes a discovery that changes everything. He is not alone in the Tau Ceti system. While investigating the Tau Ceti system, Grace encounters another vessel, the Blip A. This isn't a human ship, it's Iridian. This is where he meets Rocky, a multi-legged, stone-like being who communicates through musical chords. Rocky is an engineer from the planet Arid, and just like Earth, his home world is being destroyed by astrophage. The two survivors realize they share a common goal. Despite the massive differences in their biology and language, they form an alliance. It's a touching reminder that science is a universal language, capable of bridging the gap between two entirely different species. Grace and Rocky's collaboration is the heart of the story. They spend weeks learning each other's languages and technologies. Rocky's civilization doesn't have computers or cameras because they are blind. They use sound to perceive their surroundings. However, their material science is light years ahead of Earth's. Together, they build a shared laboratory. They realize that Tau Ceti is immune to astrophage because of a natural predator, a microbe they name Tau MOBA. The mission shifts from observation to biology. They must find a way to harvest and bring these predators back to their respective homes. Breeding Tau MOBA isn't as simple as it sounds. These microbes are incredibly volatile and can escape through the tiniest microscopic gaps. Grace and Rocky face setback after setback, including a containment breach that nearly destroys their fuel supply. They use Rocky's incredible engineering skills to build xenonite, a super strong material to contain the Tau MOBA. The chemistry between the two, a human biologist and an alien engineer, leads to brilliant solutions. They work out the math for a return trip, realizing they have just enough fuel and Tau MOBA to save both Earth and Arid. Just as they prepare to part ways and head to their respective planets, disaster strikes. Grace discovers that the Tau MOBA have evolved to survive in their containment, and Rocky's ship is infested.
Without Grace's help, Rocky will die in deep space, and Arid will never be saved. Ryland faces the most difficult decision of his life: use his remaining fuel to return to Earth and see his home again, or sacrifice his chance at returning to save his friend. In a moment of pure heroism, Grace chooses Rocky. He sends the Earthbound probes with the cure and turns the Hail Mary toward Arid.
Years later, we see Ryland Grace on Arid. Because of the planet's high gravity, 2.2 times Earth's, and thick atmosphere, he has to live in a specialized dome. He has become a legendary figure among the Aridians, the human who saved their world. Though he can never go back to Earth, he finds a new purpose. He spends his days teaching Aridian children about science, much like his life back home, but with a much more literal alien audience. He and Rocky remain best friends, proving that friendship knows no planetary bounds. He finally receives word from Earth. The sun is bright again. He succeeded. Project Hail Mary is more than just a sci-fi thriller. It's a celebration of the human spirit and our capacity for cooperation. Andy Weir crafts a narrative where the hero isn't a soldier, but a scientist with a sense of humor and a drive to solve problems. It reminds us that when faced with extinction, our greatest tools aren't weapons, but curiosity, logic, and the willingness to reach out to the unknown. Whether you're a fan of hard science or heart-wrenching drama, this story stays with you long after the final page, because in the end, we're all just trying to keep our sun shining.